എപ്പോ തുടങ്ങും?
Just 2 minutes. So shall we start? Our speaker and Dayabai, yes, Dayabai is here. Anand bhai, are you online?
Yes, sir. I'm very much online. Yeah.
Our respected Central Council member. So shall we start? Yeah. Our respected Central Council member, CA Dayanivas Sharma bhai. Our speaker and Dayabai, yes, Dayabai is here. Anand bhai, are you online?
Yes, very much, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm very much online. Yeah.
The speaker for the day, CA Anand Prakash Jangid from Bangalore. Secretary of Palghat branch, CA Anuja Jayakrishnan. Treasurer, CA KV Vasudevan. Sikasa Chairman, CA Sarin Chandran. Other senior members and fellow members. And we have one member from Hong Kong, CA Shivakumar sir. Good evening to all of you. Today, we have a wonderful session for technology lovers, augmenting technology for the SMPs. We have a very wonderful speaker, a very expert faculty. In fact, he had been one of faculty for the forensic accounting and fraud detection course as well. And we really enjoyed his session. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted him to take a session for our members of Palghat, so that members of Palghat can also learn a lot of things from him, and it will be a great value for the professional practice as well. So that was one of the reasons why we thought of having this session on technology. And our Senate Council member, CA Dayanivas Sharma, he is like a big brother for us, and he had been very helpful for all our programs. In fact, he was one of the person who had been instrumental for us to get the approval for the 9-day Navratna CP seminar, which many of our members knows. And I would like to thank Dayabai for his great support for getting that event approved. And he's another person who is tech savvy, and he has been sending messages on a lot of technology updates and professional updates. So most of our members will also be getting those messages and emails. They're very useful, and definitely his presence for this seminar will be adding a lot of value. And even our speaker was very happy to have him as a chairman for the day. So with these few introductory remarks, I would like to welcome our Senate Council member, CA Dayanivas Sharma bhai, for this CP seminar on augmenting technologies for SMPs. Thereby, hearty welcome to you. I also take this opportunity to welcome.
Thank you.
I also take this opportunity to welcome our speaker, a technical expert from Bangalore, CA Anand P. Jangid. Welcome to you, sir. And I also welcome all the members of Palghat branch and other couple of chartered accountants, including CA Shivakumar sir and a few others who have joined this particular session, considering the importance of the session. And hopefully many more will be joining in due course. So with these few words, I once again welcome all of you to this online seminar on technology for SMPs. And I request our vibrant young member Hemant to introduce the chairman for the day. Hemant.
Thank you, Vimal sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, one all. Yeah, thank you, Vimal sir. Good evening, one and all. The session chairman of today's virtual CP seminar on augmenting technologies for SMP is a well-known person to all the CAs and related professionals throughout India. He is CA Dayanivas Sharma sir from Hyderabad. He has qualified the Chartered Accountancy examination in 2005, did his articleship training with Pricewaterhouse. Thereafter, he revived Lakshmi Nivas and Co. as a managing partner from one member firm to 130 staff firm, and he has contributed 100+ chartered accountants to the fraternity. Their group is one of its kind to be called as Indian multinational firms or Make in India firm of chartered accountants. He has been covered by a coffee table book and recognized as Young India Visionary by IMG Innovative Media Group in whole of UAE. At ICAI, national and international forums, he took sessions and seminars on 23 plus topics. He is also a certified information system auditor and certified forensic auditor. Apart from the Central Council member of ICAI, he has been in the below mentioned roles in ICAI: Chairman, Peer Review Board, Member, Quality Review Board, Convener, Members and Student Services Directorate including SSP, Vice Chairman, Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, XBRL India Board Member, Member of UDIN Directorate and Digital Transformation Process Reengineering Group, Chairman, Center of Excellence, Hyderabad, and member of multi-central committees. I welcome you to the virtual CPE seminar, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Hemant, for the wonderful introduction. Would also request our Rasika C. Sarin Chandran to introduce the speaker as well before we go to the session. Sarin?
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, one and all. I am extremely privileged to introduce the speaker for the day, Sri Anand Prakash Chenji, a passionate evangelist for tech-based disruption in audit and finance domain. Anand sir is professionally chartered accountant and certified information system auditor. He is managing partner at AJA, an organization with focus in the area of forensic audit, IS audit, fraud analytics, and blockchain for Indian audit function. He is part of the risk management team at Goldman Sachs, covering multiple audits across much geography for different functions in the organization. His areas of specialization were Forex audit, DP audits, anti-money laundering, Basel II, BCP, and operational risk. Prior to Goldman Sachs, he was with the ES Consulting Group at Infosys Technologies Limited, Bangalore. Here, he was involved in the development of regulatory compliance framework for various compliances like Sarbanes-Oxley Act, etc., and was part of the team developing solution for Basel II Accord implementation. His responsibilities included working in sync with project of Infosys Consulting LLC. He has been involved in enterprise risk management implementation and IT audit for many international projects at USA, UK, Japan, China, etc. He is visiting faculty for IIM Bangalore, teaching IS audit and fraud analytics. He is speaker at North American CACs and Euro CACs of ISACA, visiting faculty at ISACA, ICI, and Wellinger Institute of Management. With all this, I present the speaker for the day, Anand sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarin, for the nice introduction. Now I invite the session chairman, Central Council member, C.A. Dayanand Sharma Bhai, for the opening remarks.
Thank you, Vimal, the chairman. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to Palghar branch for this interesting session. Taking that kind of small steps are actually making our profession to go a larger way. And I'm really delighted, that, even if it is a bunch of people who have actually got this interest, a person like Anand, I am fortunate to be a chairman of his session because I am his student. So it's basically like, all of us in this entire profession share with each other so many things. And in the process, one becomes a learner and sometimes a trainer also. So you have taken this initiative with regards to particularly this augmenting technologies for SMP is something very interesting. Let me be very specific. I still remember when you traveling to Hyderabad, when we did the first DAP program ever in such a large manner. And people from Kerala have really come and participated in a larger number. No one day that people are going to attend, and we had close to 1,800 people attending the program, and a couple of people coming from your side as well. So it was really a pleasure to start the program with. And today, who's a past chairman of I might talk to him as well. But is it audible?
Yeah. There was some disturbance, but now it is clear.
Yeah, because I'm just on the way, and fortunately, I'm in Kerala today. From Kumarakom, I'm traveling to Cochin, and tomorrow morning is my flight. So, because I'm on the way, there is a small amount of network problem. Is it audible?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Clear.
Okay, chalo. Okay. So now let me come to the main topic, which fortunately Anand is right speaker you have selected to come and speak on this topic of augmenting technologies. Undoubtedly, I think when we have a person like Mr. Shivakumar who is joined from Hong Kong. I have joined from. I'm a person from Hyderabad. Anand is a person from Bangalore. You all are people sitting in Palgad and listening to this lecture. I think the transformation for this profession has already come, and we are actually moving. We have started marching towards a new era of this profession. That's the reason we call this as a profession 2.0. Undoubtedly, the technology is to a greater extent adopted by the chartered accountants by filing their income tax returns, whether it is GST returns, whether it is any kind of things, whether it is ROC related matters. Everything has been adopted. Only thing which is missing out in the profession is some people are thinking that it is technology is very difficult to adopt. I don't think it is difficult because all the senior members of the profession also have adopted technology to a greater extent in a big way. Not that it is only doing a small practice which has been there, because your individual returns, or maybe 26 AS returns, or maybe it is TDS related matters and other things, 15 CS CB certification, everything, 15 CACB certification and all. So, a lot of such things have been already adopted by our profession. It is only thing is like, the time has come where we need to understand that point. The act and law is going to be same. It is not going to change. The definitions are not going to change. But the way that is going to be adopted and implemented is going to undergo change. When you talk about most of the firms today are using Tally, they are doing online accounting. Continuously, they are doing a lot of payroll process. Multiple things are there, which has already been there in the system. It is only that small portion of an interest which we need to create in a larger manner and ensure that the things are going in a right direction. One thing which I have request for you, Anand, I think what is happening with the larger level of people is they are actually not aware of what are those steps which we need to follow.
Right.
And it is very easy for all of us to adopt and move on. There is no doubt about it. But the only thing is that step 1 to step 10, if we actually train our chartered accountants to move from step 1, from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, our chartered accountants are that efficient that they can predict what is going to be number 10. So I think that gap, what they have to start with, or where they are having a difficulty, if we are able to guide them, I think that is the best thing which is there.
Sure,
Today,
sir.
technology is having a lot of risk which is attached with cyber risk is which is the critical one. Today, you have lot of data of your client which is lying on your system that need to be protected. Lot such things are there which we need to really evaluate and make things happening in a right spirit. I do not want to take much of the time because one is basically the connective will be having some other issue. Number two is when you have a learned speaker like Anand, I should actually speak very little and might be join you back in the concluding remarks to share other views what are being going to be discussed today. So Anand, I request you one thing that that kickstart
Yes.
which we need to do, or rather, we have been living in a country like India where we have Bajaj Chetak. You just need to bend little bit. That fuel once it is added and you kick it, the vehicle will start, and you see the entire chamatkar happening with our members.
Sure,
So
there.
I request you to kindly look into that. But friends, I can tell you one thing. Yesterday we had a council meeting. One good thing which I would like to share with you is we will be the first institute in the world to come out with the comprehensive forensic standards. And 16 standards are being approved out of 25. So the balance are in pipeline by month end. Next month end, we are actually pretty confident that this will be settled and we are going to move forward in a right manner. Friends, this is going to give us the biggest opportunity. I'm not joking. It is going to be biggest opportunity. What bankers today want when they are giving you concurrent audit, statutory audit of a branch, or maybe forensic audit or ASM, that you require a little bit of technology knowledge. And if we are not going to go towards the technology and adopt certain things and ensure that the things are going in the right direction, and learning goes in the right direction. When you talk about, you know what, one more thing very interesting which I would like to share. Some senior members are here. We are coming out with the new concept. Vimal, this is something which you can actually popularize. Anand, I request you also to popularize. We are calling a new concept which is called 50-50, which is chartered accountants who are above age of 50. We are getting an exclusive training program on technology for those people to start their entire process. Just imagine the kind of new learning which is going to go through. So we don't want people that when they are sitting in a nice program, they actually start from somewhere and they are confused. So what we want to do is we want to start for them a course. Like my father is 73 years old. I want him to understand what Excel is, what Word is, what PPT is, what kind of different technologies which are being used. At least they listen to that, and their knowledge and the appetite and the wisdom of their understanding of anything is so high that you can't even imagine the quickness with which they are going to adopt. Example, I'll tell you, friends. My father at the age of 73 has adopted going for e-hearing for the ITAT. A chartered accountant can adopt anything at any given point in time. It was the first time I had to show him how he should adopt the technology, and after that, he doesn't require me. So the point which I'm trying to drive is there is some DNA positivity which is there with us, where we adopt certain things very quickly and ensure that that is being delivered very effectively with all the members at large. So friends, I really look forward, because any process, any accounting transaction is now going to be only related with the financial transactions only, and everything is going to be digitized. And once you have digitization, we need to really understand how technologies can be effectively used. I'm very happy about one more thing which very soon we are going to give you all. And Venu, I think you might not be a chairman, but you can actually take a drive. In next 2 months in Center of Excellence Hyderabad, we have now got 41 new computers which we have now ordered, in which we are completely, you know, filling that systems with newer technology, newer software, newer way of things, where people can actually come there, stay there, learn, do a hands-on experience, so that people have that confidence that they can do anything which is required. So I look forward for your participation from Palghat also, so that we make it a larger interest to the people and people adopt technology to a greater extent. I thank you all for giving me a patient listening, and Venu, thank you very much to you and your team for inviting me as a chairman of this session, or might be I can say it is a opening remarks which I have given. And Anand undoubtedly is a man with so much of knowledge and stuff. He is going to add value. He is one of the most important person in designing the new forensic standards. And beauty, friends, I would like to say is this world's best forensic standards are homegrown standards. It is not copied and pasted from anywhere.
Yes.
It is primarily written afresh for the first time in the world by ICAI. So I look forward for your encouragement and continuous support, and ensure that we take out the best from us and ensure that we adopt to the technology in a very large manner. And Shiv Kumar sir, thank you very much for joining today. Undoubtedly, a senior member like you, when he's looking for the greed of learning is something which is always seen in chartered accountants. And today you are one such example, and there are many such seniors who are there today who have the greed of learning to be relevant, because this actually made our profession be relevant from last 70 years, and our profession is going to be relevant for next 70 700 years also. Technology comes or goes, doesn't matter. The entire parameter, the way that is going to change, our relevance is always going to be on the top. And that is what I always feel. It's all because of all the kind of senior members we are seeing like you, who have actually added value to this profession on a continuous basis. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dev.
Thank you, Devai. And now to the speaker, CA Anand Jangit.
Okay. Hello, very good evening, everyone. I'll just set up my presentation and then we'll just start. Just a moment. Okay. So, okay, I'll just okay. So, very good evening, everyone, and it's great to be among all of you. And thanks to Daya for a nice opening message, what he said, and that's really makes sense. And Daya is actually one of the very dynamic professionals working towards making sure that all of us actually goes toward that. And when Vimal sir called me up and we were discussing, we said, okay, what are the things which we can actually take? So we were actually, Vimal sir also said that, we would like to target a lot of SMPs. And then I thought of making this presentation basically focus on where SMPs can augment technology. And that's something, as there was rightly saying, that we start from step one. What are the things to be done? How do we do it? All that things has to be looked into and taken forward. And that's the plan. We would just like to take that forward. I don't want to have a death by PowerPoint. So I have only 15 slides, but I will be actually jumping between PowerPoint and a lot of things which I wanted to do it. Also, with Palgad, I have a long relationship because I used to come there for audit. Coca-Cola was one of our clients, and the whole issues used to go between Coca-Cola and Palgad was very famous at that time. So we used to come, and there used to be strikes at that point of time at the unit, and so Palgad is amazing. As a border town between Tamil Nadu, and that you can see the greenery. The one side Tamil Nadu, one side Kerala, and Palgad is in between. So anyway, coming to
if I may interrupt,
Yeah.
Palakkad is also a place of intellects.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, we should not miss that.
Okay, sure, sir. I should be. I'm now traveling a lot to Kerala, and that's the thing. I would actually try to do that because it's a very interesting place. Because I see this side of Palghat is very dry run of Tamil Nadu border. If you come on the other side, it's pretty green. So it's actually kind of a interesting place to be. Okay, so coming to the topic, I will just wanted to think of what I'm trying to cover. What is my objective for today's discussion? It will be around 15 minutes I would like to be talking. And then I would be taking questions from all of you. Feel free to interrupt me at any point of time. The agenda which I actually thought of today's, because we are talking about SMP. So I don't want to talk about 30,000 feet, 40,000 feet. I want to go drive, down to the thing that what are the things which we can adapt at our first level, why technology is very important. Second, what are the things we can adapt at our office automation perspective? Let me start with the basic thing. And as Daya was rightly saying, we should start from charity begins at home. It's always great to say, oh, we should do that for the client and all the thing. And, as Vimal sir says, when I used to come there, I used to say, if you have to do a forensic or an IS audit, first do it in your office. See what are the things we can actually, improve upon. And that's something which is required. So similarly, we have a lot of office automation things which I wanted to discuss. In the presentation, intentionally, I am not giving the name of the software because it will look like I'm promoting something. I will discuss with you. And I have a PPT, a kind of a PDF, 60 pages PDF with all the list of software for different things, which I will be sharing with Vimal sir, and he can share with all of you. I just prepared this, just yesterday on Sunday, I was just sitting and I thought, what are the things? So in my presentation, though I would not want to talk about a software as such that this is good or that is bad, I have a list which you can actually try it. And most of the softwares are open source, and we have been using ourselves in our office. So I thought it makes sense that I can actually propose some of them for all of you. Second, on the client side, what are the things we can do? And because I was thinking, I had a friend of mine, Venu, I'm sure you've heard him a lot. Venu speaks on GST and all the thing. But very few people know that Venu is using a lot of RPA in GST filing. So he used robotic process automations, a lot of that in automating the whole GST, reconciliations and filing. So the whole process is done by machines, not by articles, which is very interesting. And these are the things on process automation, starting from the basic Excel macro. I'm sure all of you heard about macros and other things. Starting from basic macros, what are the things we can actually do that? And I would like to talk about also some new services, which I think we are, not going for. These are some of the new services in technology. And if you have seen my LinkedIn post last weekend, Friday, I have actually been telling one thing that people don't understand is technology is not important. The people behind technology important. What we call as, how many of you heard a new term called purple people? Anyone has heard this term called purple people? Okay, purple people is a very interesting term. If you read about that, you will know. It is about a people who are very good in business functions and technology. They know the mix of that. They are not like technologists. They are not like engineers, but they understand how to use technology better. And I would say, as chartered accountant, it is makes sense for us to become the purple people, because people who can actually use it up. And let me tell you one thing. This is one very interesting thing. Today, the COVID pandemic had taught us that you can be anywhere and still do the work. So you are in Palghat, you are anywhere, but you can still do the work for any client anywhere in the world. So that is giving us a tech-enabled mindset, which I would like to talk about in the last. So this will be the agenda for today. Let me start with my favorite area. I always talk about why technology is so important. And I just wanted to refer to, I would say these are very interesting artifacts. One is a book by Richard Susskind called The Future of Profession. I would highly recommend you guys to read it. In case anyone wants a copy, just let me know. I'll more than happy to share it with you after this call. And this is a book which I always amazed. I have read it maybe 2 times, this book. And this talks about 3 professions, doctors, lawyers, and accountants worldwide. And this one is a very interesting thing to talk about the future of profession, on how technology is going to transform the world of human experts. As accountant, chartered accountant, we are known as the human expert. Now, if you read this book, you will understand that things are going to be, as Daya rightly said, for next 700 years or so, we can be relevant if we do an augmenting, or what we call as, trying to see, use this technology as a kind of tool in our whole effort. That is something which will help us in terms of dealing with that. Yeah. Okay. So what I was trying to say is to ensure that as much as possible, we should be knowing how to use technology for all our uses. That is what we were coming to that. And the second material is my favorite right now. It's actually called The Future of Job Report. It was released in October 2020 by World Economic Forum. I would highly recommend you to read it. I don't know how many of you are like first generation chartered accountant. Like most of you are first generation chartered accountant. Daya is second generation. So Daya is like a little lucky. First generation chartered accountant are like people like you and me who would have flunked multiple times in CA examination. Because it's like trial and error. You learn from that and do that. And as first generation chartered accountant, it's always a kind of your, I would say, this is for me, it is there, it is your hearty thought process that your children should also become chartered accountant. Why should only you suffer? They should also suffer a little bit. It makes sense, right? That's make it better for all of us. So I have a daughter and a son, and I thought my daughter should, she's in class 9, I said she should take CA. But I was checking at what is the future of jobs, how it is going to be in next 20, 30 years. And I stumble upon this report, which is a very interesting report. Let me just share it up. I have just kept it open. I just want to show you one thing in that report, not maybe everything. This is a report which talks about the future of job. It's by, thing. It's nothing much to talk about in this report. It's a huge 163 pages report, but I just search about accountants. Okay, so let's see accountants, where it's coming. Now, this is what I don't like in this report. Okay, you can see this. I've shared the PDF here. You can see this PDF here. I'll just make it a little bigger for all of you to see. They are saying next 20 years, top 20 roles which are increasing and decreasing demand. And unfortunately, they are saying that, guys, we would be someone in decreasing demand if you are just an accountant and auditor. But if you augment yourself on other areas, like whatever, if you go to the site of DAB, I would say that is a very interesting thing, because whatever is mentioned on the left-hand side is something which DAB is doing. So thanks to Manu and Daya, they are actually thinking that, okay, as profession would require all these things, it's always better to start early. And these are like on process automation specialists, on digital transformation, on information security, all these things which we are talking about is going to be the future. And when this happens, friends, if you read it, then you will see that, okay, let's say now I am around 40 years old. It doesn't matter more for me, but for kids or the people who have come in CA, they would actually want to go for areas which can add more value to them. Or we can also use these new areas and try to bring it up there. So what I wanted to share with you is a thought that people will be in future asking about all these things in the way that how we can actually use it up. Okay. So coming back to the presentation which I was taking with you, this is what is going to be the way forward. Now, office automation. Let's start with the first part. This is going to be easy. And I would say start small. Don't have to do it like a big bang approach where you try to change everything. Start with some basic stuff, but we have to try. And please understand one thing very importantly. Business transformation is never initially easy. It is going to be messy, but we have to get our hands dirty. Only if we get our hands dirty, we would be able to get a better understanding of what are the things which can work for it. And as I told you, it's not like one size fit all. Every chartered accountant gives a different kind of services. So depending on the service which I am giving, I would be able to add a lot of value. So, but there are some common element, which is I call it the fundamental building block, which we should be able to look into. So what are those? Let me show it to you. So I start with productivity. And friends, please don't worry about that. I will be giving you the complete list. Under each of the heading, what is there, I'll give you a complete list, which you can actually have, use, try it out, and then take that forward. Now, what are these softwares? Okay. The first thing which I think is missing in most of the CA offices, especially SMPs, I am not sure if you have actually seen that happening or not. Okay, this is my personal belief, so please don't take an offense to that. I think most of the chartered accountant undersell themselves. Okay, why I sell this? Let me explain it to you. I know I have a lot of friends in Big Fours, and there are friends in taxations. If you go there for an advice, the first thing they will ask you is that the moment you sit, they will start the stopwatch. Your billing is done on hours of, because see, as a professional, all of you know you have limited hours. How do I use my hours? What my team is doing? Is there a way of first going for it and knowing, analyzing that there's one client I have billed him only X amount, but I have actually spent 300 hours on that guy. I should be actually billing him more. And there is another one, I am billing him more, but I am using less hours on that. Do we do that? Now, it can be for our articles, for our staff. And what I wanted to share with you is this tool. I don't know how many of you have used it or not. I just thought I'll just share the name also. If you know, one of the thing, the full list I'll be giving you. This is what we use, Clockify. And Clockify is 100% free things, which is actually on each of our systems, it is there. And we get at the end of the month a complete report of what my people are doing, how much time they have spent on project, how much time they have spent on research, how much time they were waiting for information to come. Now, initially when the report came, it was not so nice. Let me be honest with you. Initially, the report was very messy. But over a 3 to 6 month period, it has become very streamlined. And we know which are our clients which are doing it. Now, it is helping us improve or build the guys who are taking it up there. Now, it may look like, Anand, this is not a big deal. Friends, try start using it for a summer. You will see the discipline we get into is going to be amazing. And that is something which I thought is the first thing we can actually do. At least this should be the way we should handle our first part and take it there. Okay. Okay. So is the audio is okay, sir? Vimal sir now? Okay.
Better. Now it is
Okay. Okay. Sorry. I'll keep it like that. Sorry. It happens sometime. Just in a little other environment. So it's okay. So coming to the next part, the second thing, this is, I'm actually giving you only one example, guys. I'll give you a complete list. You can try the list as you want to do that. Okay. So I have one question. This is, I would say, I actually learned from one gentleman. I'm sure all of you heard about this gentleman. The name of this gentleman is, the Mr. Founder of Narayan Hidalaya, Dr. Shetty. So Mr. Dr. Shetty actually, he was speaking in one of the seminar. And I'll tell you what was the seminar all about. The seminar was actually about blockchain. Can you imagine that, Mr. Devi Shetty talking about blockchain in medical science? And he was trying to give a very interesting example. And that is where I picked it up. I'll tell you what is the example he gave. He said, we have to see the word he used. He said, you should take baby steps in technology. Baby step one is saying, don't try to go for one big ERP and all the thing. Small incremental changes or small incremental updates in your technology uses, you will see a kind of a benefit which you can't imagine for. And he said, in what happens is one of the biggest challenge in case of what we call it as medical transcription is they have to type down all the history of the patient, and it's a big effort for the doctors to do that. So what they did is they are using digital dictation. And now, this digital dictation is there in everywhere. Now I am giving a presentation right now. And let me just, I don't know how many of you have used this or not. There's one interesting feature in PowerPoint also now, which is inbuilt, which is I have just enabled digital dictation, and you can see the subtitles coming out there, right? So it will say that whatever Anand is speaking, it is there on your screen, right? Now this looks like a very simple thing, but think of that. You are a busy professional. There are hundreds of things which you are doing every day. Now, don't you want that the machine takes care of all your dictation purpose so that you, instead of typing and all the thing, you can just dictate it up? And especially for our senior members, this is going to be the easiest thing. Why should you do all the typing and all the thing when you can just dictate it up? And this feature is there in your mobile phone. It is there everywhere, and you can actually use it up. Like, I don't know if you have seen near the keyboard, there is one symbol of a speaker symbol is there of a kind of a mic. You can use that mic symbol. Just press the mic symbol and it can type it down everything, whatever you would like to use it. Now, what I'm trying to bring out here is this kind of technology helps you in one thing. You can use many of this thing. I'm just giving you one example. One more comes to my mind is, I'm not sure how many of you have used Speechify. We use it in our office. So Speechify is the one software. I can actually dictate everything, because the more lazy you are, the better it is. Because if you are lazy, you will come out with a better way to do that. So it will just read it out for you. It will, whatever speech is there, it is the other way around. So I love to read a lot of books, but I'm always on traveling and all things. So I use Speechify. It will just read out any books to me, any PDF is there. So that instead of me reading it and pressurizing my eyes, already I have a specs. I don't want to do that much. So it helps me to do that. Specify does the same thing for me. I'm just trying to tell you all these things are what small things which we can do in office automation. These are very small things, I'm just telling you. But the impact what you're going to see for them are huge. And again, disclaimer, I'm not promoting any of that thing. There are similar versions for each of them. Just this is one of the example. I'm just trying to give it to you to explain you my point of view. Hope you got my point. Speech technologies, NLP, what we call is natural language processing, is today the best thing which is happening. Yeah, it is the best thing which is happening as we speak. Because of this kind of speech technology, you can actually type easily. You can see that whatever I'm saying, if you don't want to listen to me, you can just read it up the status, whatever I'm saying that. So it makes sense for anyone to take that forward. Okay. Now, coming to the next point. Okay, this is, I don't know how many of you do this, but I come from Infosys, and I learned it up hard way that I was the program manager for TDS CPC. So if anything is wrong in there, don't blame me now. It was like long back. Already 5 years I have left in fee. So I was the program manager for TDS CPC, and TDS CPC, when we initially started, it was a mess. But you need to understand, any large business transformation project, initially they are not going to be streamlined. It takes time. How many have seen a house being built? Have you noticed that it doesn't look nice initially, but when the house has been given the finishing touch and everything, it looks amazing, right? Now, same thing is happening here also. Project management tools are to be used. These are like task management. I would give you two which you can use easily. And my favorite of that is Asana. I'm not sure how many of you heard about that. Asana was actually a tool developed by Facebook guys, and these are tools are mostly free. This is free tool which you can use it. Asana.com, you can go. And what is the most interesting thing is, let's say for example, if you're doing an audit, you make the task in any audit, 90% of the tasks are going to be the same. They're not going to be different. Why don't we do that? We just keep the task ready, and you can copy paste the task again and again as you would like to do that. And that makes life easier. So if anyone comes to tell you that when this audit will be over, you know that, okay, 24% of the work has been done, 76% or 86% work is pending. Now, that is exactly what project management tools or task management tool does. What they do is, have you heard about a term called WBS, work breakdown structure? So what I do is I break down the work into multiple small parts, something like this. And I say, oh, this is complete, tick. This is complete, tick. And I can start using it. Okay. So there are multiple things it can help you, and you can have a complete update on how much plan, what is working on, what is waiting. And you can start with your team of size of 3 to 5 people initially, free of cost, without any charges. So those things is the third step, which I think you should be using any project management tool. I'm just not giving you specific to that, but you should be using it up. And that's something which is work it up. Fourth point on productivity, friends. I think SMP is, I'm just going really at ground zero and trying to tell you. So feel free, if some of you have already used it, no problem. Feel free to give your advice also. Maybe you have tried some of them. How many of you use not digital filing? I know whenever digital filing comes, people think GST filing and income tax filing. I'm not talking about those filing. I am talking about, have you thought of making your office paperless? Which means every document which comes in your office, it should be scanned. After scanning, this document should be stored, and it is like a kind of a e-file. Okay, which means everything about that document, everything about this client is in one file. You just open it and you should have it. Now you may say, oh, I can do this in Google Drive. Yes, you can do it in OneDrive. Yes, but there is a problem: access management. You don't want to give access to everyone in your office to that files, right? How many of you have got these issues right now, where someone has taken your profile picture on Facebook and asked money from other people? It is happening with a lot of chartered accountant. Are you aware of that? Be very careful. It happened with me. It happened with PT Joy sir. It happened with a lot of people in Kochi recently. And you know what is the most interesting thing? That guy is talking in Hindi. So people said, boss, talk in Malayalam. That time people know that this was all fake. Okay. And why this is kind of thing happening, you need to understand. As chartered accountant, I don't know whether you know it or not, but hackers love you. You have so much of information about the client. Don't you think you have all the data about that guys out there in your office system? If I hack your office system, I get troves of data about his financial, his address, PAN number, date of birth, you name it, everything. And these are the things they want. I would suggest we should have a proper digital filing system. The one which comes to my mind and which is like we are using it is, I don't know if you've heard about uh, SharePoint. SharePoint is very interesting. It's from Microsoft online. It's all cloud. Right now, everything is cloud. You can actually, and cloud is safe, no problem at all. So you should use it. By the way, I just wanted to tell you one thing. When I was making this presentation, I did a calculation that, okay, I'm going to tell all this softwares and everything. And I have an Excel sheet also, maybe in the last I'll show you. How much is going to be your annual costing for, as SMP? So you will be shocked. Your monthly extra expenses for all the things which I'm telling you is going to be not more than 9,000 rupees. I think 9,000 rupees we can afford, right, per month. For, yearly, it will be around something around 1,10,000, something around that. That's all. And it will give you a lot more control over whatever we are doing it up there. Okay. Then coming to one very problematic area I see in CA offices is we use Gmail. I don't have any problem with Gmail, but there are software services like, I'm not sure, we personally use Yandex, Yandex. I can give email address to all my people, and it is absolutely free, and it is a very safe one. We are using it extensively for last 3 years. We are using it without any problem. And what is the most interesting thing is, I don't have to have a lot of expensive things. And there's one Gmail account which everyone will use it up and all the thing. So it can help us to do better work, better coordination. Every mail which comes, are we taking a track of that? So these are some of the tools we can use on the productivity side at office as an SMP. That is like first area which I thought I will share that. Let me show you the second part of the presentation, where financial areas. I'm sure financials, we are already experts. So you will say, Ari, these are the things which we know. I just thought, I'm not sure if you guys are doing it, but I have a lot of respect for SMPs because, as an entrepreneur myself, I know it's not easy. All of you are entrepreneur yourself, and it's tough to set up a practice, to manage it up, starting from scratch and going forward. It's not an easy area. Sometimes we give a lot of advice to the client, but we don't do it ourselves. Happens or not, because it's like, doctors mostly give advice, but they don't do that themselves. So my suggestion is, this is one of the problem I faced, and I'm just sharing with you. We used to have a big problem that, you send the invoice to the client and the client is not even responding back. And when I told this to my friends who are already practicing, he said, welcome to CA profession. Here, client will pay you 3 years later, whatever the fees which are there. So that is the kind of a setup which is there. But, it will also affect a small organization like mine because, it affects our working capital, everything. So I actually came out that there is one very interesting approach, which will look very professional also, and the client will not be annoyed. Which basically does is automatically, once I send the invoice and I set the frequency, every 15 days it will keep on sending the reminder to the client saying that this is the due, this is due, and you can pay it online. That person can pay it online and it will come into my account. Now the only thing they charge is like hardly 0.25% of the of like kind of 8 rupees is their charges for collection. So there are services like this. I don't know if you've tried Zoho Invoice. Try it up. It's very interesting. That's the kind of thing which can be done. And trying to do online budgeting. SMPs never do online budgeting. We just think it's because ultimately it's one person who's managing the whole show. He will bring it the money from wherever it is required. But if we want to bring some kind of, I would say, uh, some kind of structured discipline into that, try. There are a lot of interesting tools which will do budgeting for you and to track you where you're spending money. Like we made our budget for 2021, where how much money we want to spend on marketing, how much we'll do it on new services, training, everything. And now we are tracing it up. This is how we are going to take care of that. There also one very interesting thing which I think, okay, have you noticed after Swiggy and Zomato came, what happened to the restaurant business? Is that closed down? No, they are there, but they have a new actually area where they can actually add a lot of value. Now, I'm sure you have heard about some services like Upwork. No, Upwork is something which I see a lot of chartered accountants there right now. And that's interesting because that's the right approach. They are taking it up right now because there are a lot of people, in some part of the world who requires a lot of services. It's all freelancing, work out there. And I would say there are a lot of sites which are there. Upwork is the most happening one. There are, I think they are looking for accountants in US, and the charges are around $16 per hour. Not a bad thing. So it can be another, stream of income which you can actually start it up. Like that, there are hundreds of websites which are looking for that. Yes, it will take some effort. There is a capex involved in terms of initially setting up, but it's an interesting way of taking care of that. Okay. And the last one in financial I would like to talk to you about is using a lot of open source software. Now, I just wanted to tell you, most of them told us that, okay, the softwares are not safe. I would suggest you to go to a site where we can actually get all the open source software. Okay, open source software listing. Okay, now you will be shocked that there are very interesting source. I like this one, sourceforge.net. This is one platform which are all tested. You don't have to try anything. Whatever software you want without free of cost, including an ERP. If you want an ERP like SAP, they have even ERP open source. You can see they have the list of all the ERPs, Dolly Bear, ERP, CRM, customer relationship management. They are all open source software and you can download it and start using it up there. You name it, they have it, all the kind of, it's a repository of that. And you know what is the most interesting thing? All this software has been tested for what we call it as any kind of viruses and issues, licensing issues and all that kind of thing. So you can see they have 991 software for Windows, 765 for Linux, and different kind of softwares for different kind of work. Now this is one ultimate thing which financially help us. Instead of buying the softwares online, we can actually just go ahead and take this open source software. Makes sense for all of us and easy to use out there. So these are some of the points which I thought on the office automation. I would say here what we can use. Okay, marketing. I know the first thing will be as per each institute guidelines, we can't do marketing like, and we cannot promote it up. Yes, I agree. But if you have seen our 5 years back, Institute was also not on Twitter and Facebook and other things. Now Institute is there on Twitter and all things. With the time, everyone is changing. I would suggest we should not do a marketing that way, which is like, you have a concept of pull versus push, but at least people who would like to know what's harm in them to commit up that. I would suggest every CA firm should have a page on LinkedIn, at least a page of the firm which should be there written. It's a good way where people will know what you are doing and all this. You should have a plan. If you don't want to go into a plan, at least my suggestion is, as chartered accountant, you guys have a huge knowledge repository. Why don't we write blogs? If you write blogs, this is the best thing which can happen. I will tell you one very interesting thing. I reach out to one of the CPA in US because we work in data analytics and machine learning. I reach out to this guy just because he writes some amazing blogs. And I used to learn a lot from the blogs. And he has built up his all business on marketing using blogs. And it is nothing wrong. He's just sharing information, knowledge. And people go to him and say, hey, how can you help us on this problem? And that's the kind of thing which can be work. You can write on GST. You can write on income tax. You can write on any specific area which you would like to become it. Already our senior members are saying it's a time of specialization. Whichever area would like to do it, we can do that. And opening a YouTube channel where you share information. I found one very interesting channel of one CA from Saharanpur. He's talking about Excel, how he's using Excel in auditing, and that was amazing. He's actually giving sharing with all the fellow people that he uses Excel in a different approach altogether. So friends, that's something which is interesting. And websites are key. And I would suggest many CA don't go for website, but they may think, okay, who's going to come for us? But think of that. If you're going on Upwork and all the things, we are already seeing it. During this lockdown, a lot of people have been working from home. I was seeing a lot of my friends, I had in Bangalore, they are working in Bangalore. They have shifted back to, Thrissur and other places right now because they said it doesn't make sense. I can be working from anywhere and it makes sense to be at home. So in that kind of environment, we should also promote our things. So I would say, I don't want it to be a very flashy thing also, but a sample presence is very much required. Okay. So these are all on the marketing side. Now comes my favorite. This one, I'm sure all of you have been doing it, but I just thought I'll add it up for the purpose of sharing. This is some of the thing all of you do it. I don't know. Are you guys taking backup every day? I'm sure you are taking backup, but taking backup is so painful. Why can't we have a complete solution from something like OneDrive? It just cost you like yearly. It will cost you $20. It's nothing. $1,400. For that, we can have a complete environment created between your organization, which everyone can share information. Everything is data. It's communicated well, much faster, and we can actually take care of that. And webinars and web conferencing we are having right now. And Dayasar was right. I saw also one of our senior members. He was actually doing it. Someone was helping it. But as CS, we are very good in terms of learning all these things. And today everyone is like having Zoom, Google Meet, and I don't know what all things. There are so many of them are there, and those things are adding a lot of value to us. I would suggest this is something future is going to be a very remote environment altogether. But yes, even though people are going to come back, our organizations are opening up, you will see that collaboration is a key. And we should actually be promoting those kind of tools. And this is what we can actually help. It's a simple things, but add a lot of value. I just thought, we will not go very high end. We'll just try to cover it up there. This is my favorite area. I don't know. I have seen one chartered accountant in Delhi doing it. He is actually expert on GST, and he has done this very interesting thing. So what he does is every client, if they have an issue, he has actually a software called Jira, Jira. I can just show it to you here. Is there here only. This software is freely available. So every client of his, okay. So I can just show you to. It's an open source one, okay. Sorry. Jira. Okay. So Jira is one software. This is very interesting. It's a plugin and all thing. You can actually ask all your client that, boss, if you have any issue, please raise a request. Just like ticket, we have our institute has ticketing system. You have a problem, you can raise this thing. You can actually have this software where you can actually handle all the issues of the client doing it. And this actually make it very interesting. And it basically works well for managing the issues. The client knows that, okay, I know there are at a lot of Mufassil area, client will be not tax heavy, but I'm just giving example for when you start dealing with Upwork and all thing, a kind of online help desk will basically make you look very professional. And if that is not the case, I would highly recommend you to use one software which actually changed the way I was doing it. Is called Calendly. Now, this is an amazing software. I'll tell you why. This is for allowing client to schedule your time. So my calendar nowadays, it's actually a free software, Calendly. Okay. So what happens is I have just put my user account ID and password. And what happens is I have published my calendar on our website. So if a client wants to talk to me at 3 o'clock in the evening, he can go and he can schedule it up a 30-minute slot, and it will come as I can actually just approve it up. Yes, that time I'm free, and I can work it out there. So it actually adds a lot of value in terms of how we deal with this and take that forward, friends. Okay. So these are some of the things. And one last one, I don't know how many of you do CSAT survey. It's called customer satisfaction survey. Start doing it, friends. It will be very interesting. It's like you can Google it out. You'll get a lot of forms which are there on Google Forms and all the things. You can make one form and send it to your client. What do they think? How do they rate it up? It looks like, okay, all right, why do we have to do this? But over a period of time, it will make you look little different than others. An organization which have approaches which are ensuring that you are able to differentiate yourself adds a lot of value, friends. This basically makes it looks that, okay, here we are doing something which makes a different approach altogether. Okay. So this is some of the points which are there which we can use it. One last slide on automation and office automation part, which I would like to say, is using your smartphone effectively. Today I'm not sure, I'm sure everyone have an iPhone 12 and this one, but there are a lot of tools and techniques which you can do for productivity, like remote desktop connections, using the cloud, having a mobile office approach. And I'm not sure how many of you have taken it, but I would highly recommend you to take a virtual phone number. A virtual phone number costs you hardly 600 rupees per month, but it gives you like anyone can pick up the call. It looks more professional. The firm has one phone where anyone can 24/7 we can actually supply it up. If it rings for everyone, 6 7 people together. And this is an interesting approach to mobile working, in terms of you can be anywhere. You can be Wagaman doing a vacation, and then you have all these things coming up. Okay. So this is the first part, friends, of my discussion, where I was trying to say what are the things we can use it for office automation. Okay. Because I wanted to finish everything in 1 hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So I'm going a little fast. Feel free to interrupt me if any questions are there. In the meantime, I would like to talk about the next area, which is big now, and which you can add a lot of value. This is called the process automations. Process automation is nothing but, is there a process by which simple processes can be automated? Okay. When I say simple processes can be automated, the concept comes to, I can just share with you. I'm not sure how many of you heard about this tool called UiPath. Okay. It's a, robotic process automation. So what it can do is, let's say, for example, simple thing. Don't think it like they will show all the videos and all things. They're all not so important. What we should focus is any repetitive task. If you're doing bank reconciliation daily, if you're doing GST work daily, all this work you can just automate just like a machine. Step one, go there. It's like a recording a macro. So if you record a macro, it can actually make sure that all your repetitive tasks can be done. And you know what is the most interesting thing? This software cost actually around 70,000 to 1 lakh rupees, one license. But if you take the community license, it's absolutely free. Or now, even I'm just showing it to you. Microsoft has come out in this field, and they have something called as Microsoft or Power Automate. You can try it up. Just like we had to have Power BI, they have now something called as Power Automate. Okay. And this is very interesting. So there is a new term which has come in the market. The technology has to be no code or low code. Maybe one of the reason we are not seeing a lot of auditors right now, not a lot of engineers now. This is very interesting thing. Power Automate. I would highly recommend you to check it out, because this is going to, wherever Microsoft goes, that area is totally change. And this can automate. You can see you have to just say this step, you have plug and play, and you put it out there, and everything works in a very simple way. And it comes as a part of Office 365. If you're taking Office 365, it is like free of cost available out here. It's a good area of practice. You can actually start with that. I'm telling you, process automation, I would say it has 2-3 years of life now. So you should actually as much of make hay while the sun shines, and it can add a lot of interesting perspective to what we are doing, how we are doing it up, what are the key things we are taking care of that, and ensuring that everything works in the right approach. Okay. And apart from this, which is power, there are some new areas which I think you can be sitting anywhere. You can be in Palakkad and actually give services. Like we have one office in Trivandrum, and we do our work for our clients in actually US and clients in North India, sitting in Trivandrum. It can be anywhere. It doesn't matter. And which are this area now? And what is the reason why this area can be even given by a small and medium enterprise? Because the access to technology is so easy. You can actually get all the software hardly for like 20, 30,000, which was like earlier, oh my God, it will cost you so much of the thing. So what are the things? The first one, which is a free software I wanted to share with you. This is my favorite area actually. This software is called Nine. I'll maybe show it to you. It's installed on my machine. Nine, friends, is the most amazing thing which could have happened to us. I don't know how many of you have heard about this softwares like CAT tools. You've heard about CAT tools all the time, computer assisted audit techniques and all thing. And whenever we used to have it, it used to be like, oh my God, it is cost you 1 lakh rupees, one license and all thing. Nine is actually by one Swiss-based company. It's totally open source, which means it's very powerful. We are using it across the board. This is how it looks like. And you know what is the most interesting thing, friends? You don't have to know any coding knowledge. It's just like I'm just showing it to you. Everything is, it can be, plug and play. You have to just, there are ready-made boxes are there. In fact, our institute has done 2-3 code training on that. DAB has already done training on this software already. And it's just like you can see, drag and drop, read the file from Excel, category to number, convert into this, just like in Excel we do it. And I would highly recommend you to learn it up and use it up. And once you execute it up, like I can maybe just show it to you, you have to just execute. Let's say I execute this whole process. It'll give it output in just 5 minutes. So Venu sir knows we do a lot of forensic audit, and there is something called as fund trail. You have to find out fund, where the fund has come from and where it has gone. And manually it used to take us months together earlier. Today we are doing it. You can see this is just giving a bar chart here. Today we are doing the same work on a automation process, data analytics, in less than 10 to 15 days, what used to take month. So it can just give you that output what you are looking for. So this is how it was something on some bar chart or neural, it has come out with that. So my point which is there is, this tool, you can use it, you can install in your machine and start using it. It's like totally free, and it's a very powerful tool. So it's time we start using it, friends, because whether we like it or not, this is the future, which can add a lot of value to us, and we can give new services to our clients, right? Another thing is, I'm not sure how many of you heard about this. It's called process mining. And this process mining, yes, mostly big client will take it for the service from you, but it's a very interesting service which we can actually give. I'll just share it with you. Process mining, I'll just show you one software called Celonis. Okay. Okay, by the way, disclaimer, we are Celonis partners, so I'm just, don't think I'm promoting it. I'm just giving it's a very interesting thing. What is this one? I'll just explain you with an example. In every organization, there is SOP, standard operating procedures. So what does standard operating process says? It says, this is how we are working. But actually, that is not true. In real life, what is happening is people or the processes are changed. So what Celonis does is, it basically does a new term which we all know called process or task mining. It will tell you that, okay, this task took so much time to complete and so many people were involved. And you can see this one here. This is called the happy path, accounts payable. And it says this challenges are there in this one. So it basically allows you It's something like an X-ray of a process. We can actually see inside what's actually happening out there, how it is working, and what are the challenges we have to overcome that. So process mining is a very interesting area, and I would highly recommend you to basically explore it up and see for yourself that what are the areas where we can use it. We are using it in forensic. I'm sure you can use in GST, whatever its area. Uh, we all know about business process reengineering is one area which we have been talking about all the time. I am sure a post-COVID era, companies will come to consultant who can actually advise them how to transform the business. Business transformation is the key. In fact, there is no business which is going to be left now which is not have digital, because if they are not there in digital, they are going to, like my father has a tea business, we are into tea powder and all thing. And I am seeing last 3 years he is also moving to digital marketing. He's moving to what we call it as having all the listing done in Amazon and Flipkarts. He's actually moving towards new supply chain options. Now why is that things happening? Because they understand it very clearly. In future, if you want to survive, it's like either we augment to this or we perish. So either you have to augment to this and see for yourself what are the things we can do, or it's going to be not a very interesting or a very happy thing. I remember one very interesting thing. I was taking a session at there is a one very nice education body of IOC, Indian Oil Corporation, which is called IIPM, Indian Institute of Petroleum Management. It is in Gurgaon. So I went there last year, January, I was there. And what happened was, when we went there, in the reception, on the back side of the reception, there was a mural, nice mural. And on the mural, they have put one very interesting thing. It was saying, change, dot, 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 before you are forced to change. So it basically says that, boss, either you change yourself or you will be forced to change. And we have seen that happening. A lot of people, Nokia was one time leader of the thing. We all, I'm sure every one of us have played with Nokia phone, that black color one, catch and everything. Every one of us have done it. But what happened to that organization? It was totally sold off, because you have to go with the time changing. I remember when I was doing my articleship, MCA 21 came. And let me ask you one question here, all of you present. I see a lot of senior members. When first time you heard this term digital signature, what came to your mind? Be honest. It came to my mind was you sign on a paper and scan it up. That is digital signature. And I think when I asked most of the chartered accountant, they say the same thing. That first time we heard like that only. Then later we know what is a dongle, what is this PFX file, and all the thing that will came later. But we have adapted that, as they rightly said. The most powerful species is one which adapts to the situation, and that's the reason I was telling augmenting is very important. And coming to the last point, which is actually, this is, I am telling you from my experience, guys. Please don't take it otherwise. I am 110% sure no chartered accountant in today's meeting have actually read the Tally manual. Anyone has read the Tally manual, how to use Tally? Be honest. Anyone has used it? No. We have learned it, including me. We all have learned it. How many of you know that in Tally Prime, there are so much of features which are there? Client don't even know these features. They don't know how to use it up. And I'll tell you how I came to know that. I was looking for some support of someone telling me, because we were setting up Teleprime at my father's office, and I didn't know that there are so much of features which is there. I was searching for some CA who can help me up, even a paid service, to tell me what are the thing I can do it. How do I configure it up? There is chart of accounts and all thing, and I was in ERP implementation in SAP and all thing. I know chart of account is very important. They have brought these features, but a lot of people don't even know that. I would say ERP assistant, like it can be SAP, Oracle, anything, but that's something which is going to be a very interesting approach. This is my personal belief. Maybe, you may say, nah, this is not going to work, but this is my personal opinion, friends, that this is required. We are not using it effectively. Whatever we can, there are a lot of features which are there. We are not even using it. That's my suggestion, that we should do that. So just to give you the new services, I would suggest, I know no one like lockdown. It's next March will be 1 year in lockdown, or officially we are still in lockdown, in one way or other. But it's a boon. it's a black swan event which has happened, and he has told the people that, boss, we have to survive. You have to adapt to new things, and people have adapted to that. Right now everyone has changed, we are doing so much of things session. Our institute has changed, don't you see that? And it's accelerated the speed at which institute never wanted to do virtual. I remember I was in Infosys. I was the coordinator for the, we have a CP circle there. And once we wanted to have CP circle meeting between Bangalore and Hyderabad, because I don't know how many people know, Infosys has more than 3,000 chartered accountants. That's a huge number. So we had people in Hyderabad and we wanted to give them CP. And the institute told that time, I'm talking about around say 8-9 years back, they said, no, you have to be physically there for getting the CP. And today we are having a virtual, CP meeting. So things moves, that's a kind of very interesting. And the second point, which I think is the world is flat. And there's a book by the same name. I'm sure you've heard about The World is Flat. It's a very interesting book. You should read it. And I think today, though there is a lot of nationalism and other things coming up, still there are a lot of opportunities. We are getting I would say SMPs in India has much more to explore. We have still not scratched the whole surface yet. There are much more to do, but yes, collaboration is the key. Collaboration internally as well as externally, as well with our peers, that is something which can actually add a lot of value to what we are doing. So those things has to be looked into and managed effectively if we have to actually take it to the next level. That's what I was trying to say. So friends, some of the thing, this is more or less my last two slides which I wanted to discuss, and then we can actually have a discussion, open house, and take your views also on that. This tech enabled mindset is a very important thing. What I mean by tech enabled mindset is we need to understand the KISS principle. It is called keep it simple, stupid, which means don't overdo it. Start with simple automations in your organizations. Give services. Try yourself, friends. It's not like, I'm sure all of you would agree to one point that we have come a long way. Daya was right when he was saying that, we have survived and will survive in the future also. But when we are doing it, one of the key things which I would like you to remember and use it effectively is the making the whole process simple, not making complicated. People like to make things complicated. Apple is one of the richest company in the world because they make things very simple. It's not because they make things complicated. So here also I would suggest you that keep the KISS principle simple. Don't try to overdo things. Steps are already there, people have tried it, and disruption is the key. We have to there is a very interesting thing. If you take the Fortune 500 list, every year they publish it up, you will find that except for the oil companies, no company has been there in the Fortune 500 list for more than average 5 to 6 years. So it is just basically what's happening is organizations they come to the Fortune 500 list and they just are not able to sustain it up. Oil companies have been able to sustain, and there are a few more like PNG, Unilever, and others who are actually out there. So it's a very interesting cases to understand that those organizations have disrupted whatever they're doing. Sometimes we have to disrupt our own market to be able to, go for that. So KISS principle and disruption is the key. And the last but not least, go for a small incremental approach. I call it a baby step. Don't try to do everything one shot. I'll be giving you one big material like around 20 pages document, and it will basically give you all the different types of softwares under different categories, which you can try it out. But predominantly, we should know that we have to not go and all of them at one shot. We need to take an incremental approach, step by step. That would actually help us to do a better job. Okay, so that's something which we should know, and I would say that is going to be the key in terms of seeing the future SMPs which are there, who can actually do a lot of changes in the world, and what are the kind of things which we can bring it out to the table. Okay, so this is what I just thought I will share with you, just to summarize what I have actually tried to talk about that. So friends, we started with discussing why technology is so important. And as I told you, as an SMP, it's great. We have, I would say, I would love to even speak to 3 people, 4 people, but all of you have come today on a Monday evening and you are actually sitting there and attending it. That shows your patience about that. So you are really wanted to change something. And that's amazing. My suggestion is we can be the leader. Palgat can be leader in terms of changing. Try some of these points which I've talked about. We started with productivity tools. There are so many productivity tools, and all are cloud-based. I'll just tell you one example. When I was in Infosys, we had a CRM, which was SAP CRM. And that cost, the implementation of SAP CRM was itself around 3 crore rupees. Today in my organization also, I have a CRM, customer relationship management, where I know what are my customers doing and all that thing. And that I pay something around 1100 rupees per month. So you're seeing cloud has actually made life so easy for all of us. We have access to technology today, which was not there at the speed which you are doing it up, and think of, if you get a chance, I would highly recommend you to go to YouTube and watch one video by, Mr. Ramesh, who is the head of Deloitte in India. He spoke at Bombay Chartered Accountants Society. One speech was given by him on future of audit. Okay, if you listen to his future of audit thing, and he was very interesting. It was a 1 hour talk, and Ramesh talked so many points, especially the point of disruption. He was rightly saying that in future, the way we are going to do audit, imagine Amazon has stores now, Amazon Go. You go to that place and do a review. It's going to be very different in the way what we do in a regular review. So things are going to, whether we like it or not, change. And this change, which is going to happen, we need to see how we can augment it up there. And as senior members, I would suggest you are the key, because always your senior members have led the change. I was telling Daya sometime back, you will be shocked to know that we have a course called DISA. I'm sure all of you have heard about the DISA course. I don't know how many of you know that in 2018, the first rank holder of DISA course was a chartered accountant, 58-year-old from Patna. He was the first rank holder, and it was very surprising because I was one of the faculty who was taking session. He used to be very curious about things. He used to, like, he had a client and he called the client and said, show me how computers hard disk is different and all things. Very interesting. The gentleman was very thing. But imagine a 58-year-old chartered accountant getting into this is what we can actually think of. So friends, this is what I just thought I will share with you. To just summarize, there are a lot of things which are there. We can actually use it up. I just thought, as I told you, I'll keep this, presentation very less, PPTs. I just wanted to discuss with you. And maybe if you have any questions, query, feel free. I'll just more than happy to, love to take the questions and query, anything which you may have. And also, I would also like to take your feedback. What do you think? No, Anand, whatever you're saying doesn't make sense or not usable. Feel free. I would really take it up, because I'm also, sharing what we have done. But there are many times I always hear this. I had a friend of mine, and I told him one thing. I'll just share with you this incident, and maybe then I'll wrap up. So I had a friend of mine. His name is Srinivas Kulkarni. He's a practicing chartered accountant in Bangalore. And I am into IS audit and all thing. So when I went to his office, I found that he was having a box full of digital signature, a huge box full of digital signature. I know only yesterday, only all the audit season has become over. I think still we have, right, 5 days, 4 or 5 days of we have to file the time for audit cases are there. So I asked him, do you have I asked my friend, do you guys have an authorization for all this digital signature? So he started abusing me, because he's my friend. He can abuse me. He said, who told you to become a chartered accountant? You don't know what is practical, what is not practical. All my clients don't even know what is a digital signature. They call it as a pen drive. and you are trying to tell me authorization and all the things. I said, okay, no problem, it's fine. But I said, don't you think you should take some time to effort to educate your client? He said, why should I do that? Now I told him that there is one interesting case which happened in Guwahati. How many of you are aware of that one case in Guwahati, which was also came in the newspaper, where one of the chartered accountant in a partnership firm has used the digital signature of the client. The client only said that use the digital signature and file the return. He filed it up, and there was a fight between the partners, and the other partners went and filed a case against the chartered accountant, and saying that he has misused the digital signature. Now, in the court, by the time you do it, I don't know how many of you are aware of IT Act, Information Technology Act, revised 2008. There is a provision that if anyone misuses your digital signature, is a non-bailable offense, which means you will arrest it, they will take you to the judge, and there you will get the bail. And you know how our Indian society is. If a police guy comes to your house, the whole neighbor will ask you what is happening. And there you are getting arrested. So I explained this thing to my friend, and he said, after I explained the whole thing, he said, yeah, maybe I should take some precautions when I'm taking it, because there are also some clients who are not very good clients, right? We love our clients, but you don't never know when the clients are stop loving us. So my suggestion would be some precautions, some changes. Let's try to take the step. It's a new year now. I'm sure all of you are all excited, new year resolution. Think of some 4 or 5 things which you'll put in our organizations and change it up. Okay. So that's all from my side, friends. Over to you, Vimal sir. Any questions, any doubts? Feel free, friends.
I think you can close that presentation so that we can see the members.
Oh yeah, sure, sir. Okay, I'm just closing the presentation. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, that was indeed a very good presentation, and we really got a lot of information on the new technologies and various softwares which can be used for the better management of our practice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think some of our members will definitely be having some questions.
Yes, sir.
I request members to come forward with their questions, if any, and we can discuss that.
I would like to place on record Mr. Anand's, it was short and sweet, I would say.
Thank you, sir.
Very precise. And, though when we browse a website, you come across so many programs and so many effective tools, but we just glance it and we go to the next sheet. But with your experience, you have come across and given some suggestions. I'm sure this is going to be very useful. I've made note of a few of your suggestions. We'll definitely see how we can make use of it.
Thank you, Siva sir. Thank you very much. And actually, you are perfectly right. We have right now an information explosion. We have so much of information we don't know. In fact, I was just checking it up on a daily basis. I will junk around 50% of my emails. I will not even read them because we are all, always loaded up that. But what happens is, over a period of time, once we start seeing some of the stuffs which are there, coming from like this presentation took me a lot more time to make because I come from a corporate background, and here we are talking about SMPs, and the challenges are different here as in a SMP. So I have to talk to a couple of my friends, but on the same side, what I think is, if we use some of the points, it will be very useful for them, especially as professionals who are working. And that's something which I just thought I'll share it up. Thank you, Siva sir, for that. It was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed that thing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Okay, so Shivaram sir has asked me a question here, which is, hope uploading data in Google Drive is safe. On secrecy, any danger? Okay, sir, let me ask you one counter question, Shiva sir. Shiva sir, have you read the Google agreement when you signed the Gmail account?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay, so
I have not read.
Yes, sir. I would tell you, sir, it's actually not safe. If you are using the free version, Siva sir, it's not safe at all. Because see, I hope you are already seeing the new fight going on between Facebook and WhatsApp. So WhatsApp says that now we can read all your messages. So people are moving to Signal. Now, my suggestion is, I don't know, a lot of people are there. See, Google Drive has one version, which I'm not sure if you're aware of. That version is a paid version. Like it's cost you $2 per month for 100 GB. I'm using it up. That agreement is different. That is, you become a business user. If you are a business user and you are paying for that service, they don't take your data. But if you are a free user, as per that agreement, they can read all your data. You can actually notice one thing. If you are using a free Gmail account, what will happen is whenever you get an email from Institute on IFRS, you will start seeing ads of IFRS on the top, which means Gmail has already read all your mails which are there. So my suggestion is, sir, you have to be careful and check it for that, Shiva sir, that whether it is really a safe service. Like I'll give you one example. Have you seen a site called Have You Been Pawned? This is the site name. I'm just putting it up on the Have I Been Pawned? It is actually, it's a very interesting site. In fact, this you can check it up whether your data is safe or not, because many times you don't even know. You just put your email ID here. Okay, 1 minute, sorry. I'm just putting it to everyone in the meeting. This is a site. It's a safe site. You can put your email ID here, Shiva sir. And what you will find is that it is possible that your email ID already, your user ID and password is already compromised, because LinkedIn has already been hacked. Dropbox has been hacked. So whenever it gets hacked, it goes up. And nothing is absolutely safe on the internet. Everything is there. So you have to have what we call as a kind of balancing it out between that. Like all data is not so secure, but some data which is secure, you can actually have a proper checks and balance yourself. And for the rest of the thing, you can go for it, sir. That's what I suggest.
Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you, sir. Okay, Venkat sir has a very interesting question, and I was actually expecting this question, sir. This is very right question. So, sir, I would try to differ it between two things. So, I'll just repeat the question, which sir says is, under the circumstances, free software may not be safe. How safe are automation utilities that are referred? Also curious, what about company provide free product to do? What is in for them? Okay, good point, which is very right point. So Venkat sir, first thing is that except for in, I hope you know this thing, only in some of the religious places you get free lunches. There is nothing called free lunch, right? On the religious places, we have some free lunch. That is only because of religion. There is nothing called free lunches. If anyone is giving anything for free, it means there is an issue. But there is a difference between open source and free software. I'll explain you the reason. See, there are a lot of software which are freely available, which you can actually download free and use it up. Or let's say Zoho and all thing, you can get free. They are actually using your data. This is called data harvesting. They are trying to get more and more data about you. Just like our Mukesh Ambani sir, Mukesh Bhai told, right? Data is the new oil. As much data I can get about you, that is the thing. But when I showed you, that's the reason I actually showed you this site, sourceforge.net. I intentionally wanted to do it. See, I'm a guy who is not too much into donations and all the thing, but there is one organization I donate every year, and that is called Linux Foundation. Linux Foundation is about open source. So all this software here in this site, the license is called GPL license, General Public License. And this source code is totally given free of cost. So it's basically a kind of a movement where they are saying that software should be freely available. You should not make so much of money out of that. So if you're getting anything from SourceForge, I would 100% vouch for them that they are safe. But if there is anything which is coming from other sources, then it is possible that you may have a problem out there. I hope I answered your question, Venkat sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
How effective is Dropbox for backup, sir?
So Dropbox is good. I myself use Dropbox, but you have to use the Dropbox Enterprise version. But I hope you are also aware of that Dropbox was if I go and check my email ID, anandjangid@gmail.com, on have I been pawned, but that is one of the things which happened was there was a data leakage in Dropbox only, after which it has went. But the present enterprise version is totally encrypted, so it's very, very secure. The enterprise version is very secure. So we use enterprise version of, that's very interesting actually.
And you were talking about Linux. So
yes,
not many of these firms, you'll have to pay for the server license and having the server.
Yes, sir.
So Linux-based servers, which are priced almost at 30-40% of the normal
Yes.
server. That's a new technology that's catching up quite hot in the market.
You are perfectly right, sir. What is happening, Shiva sir, is around the internet, 95% of the servers which is running the internet are Linux based. Earlier, we used to have an operating system called Unix, which was freely available. Now Linux is the thing. And they are much more powerful than anything else what we can think of. And as you rightly said, they are all open source. So even, SSL, which we use technology, secure socket layer, one of the security layer, which whenever we go to banking, it is an open source technology, which is actually Linux based and all thing. So all these things, that's why I told you the only places where I donate is Linux Foundation, because there are more than 30,000 men and women who are working there free of cost. Like as volunteers, they work and they make softwares like which we use to make the world run. So it's interesting, and that's the reason when SSL, there was some leakage recently. Most of the big companies like Google, and Facebook and everyone, they donated around $6 million just for developing SSL again, because they know if there is no SSL, the world will stop working. And there are, a lot of people ask me why they are making free software. It's not free. It's like just they are passionate about their volunteering time. We go to do some temple and do some seva and all the thing. It's like their way of doing some seva for the mankind. So it makes sense out there. That's also.
You were mentioning about alternative options for Gmail.
Yes, sir.
Can you just elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, I will just give you one, yandex.com. It's a Russian-based thing, very interesting. You can try it up. Yandex, you can go and make all your people, like once you have a website, you can actually make the complete people's mail ID. And it's more secure, I would say, compared to Gmail. And they also don't have it up. Any kind of problem with, your data. They are not behind your data kind of thing. And so it's an interesting tools, yandex.com. We use it extensively. And what happens in this one, Venu sir, is you can actually have for all the members, you can have different mail IDs. Instead of have one catch-all mail ID, we have a better control over that. And it looks also more professional, right? Everyone's talking about that, and it works fine. So that's what I would suggest.
Do you mean to say that you can have it based on your domain name?
Yes, sir. Based on your domain name, you can have maybe, they allowed you 6,000 free mail IDs per domain name. So till you become 6,000 people big, you can enjoy it, use it up.
Okay, great.
Okay, that's a very interesting one. They have done it.
And
it's a Russian one. That's what is a little bit of concern.
Sir, in fact, now we are more concerned about US based businesses than Russian. I would say I would go and prefer Russian now to US.
For me, Russian and Chinese is something no go.
No, I agree. I agree. The problem which is there is, what you're seeing is WhatsApp and all thing. I would highly recommend you to read one very nice article which was written on World Economic Forum. They have an annual magazine on privacy. And when you see that, people get shocked what kind of data about you they are capturing. But, ultimately, it's a kind of a, as you rightly said, you have to have your, give and take between that privacy you want or you want services and all things. That's what we have to think of that. Yep. Chinese is still no-go, very much. I agree with you, sir. That is always a no-go. Because Chinese tech has been very, very dangerous. Most of the people who have used it, we are very scared over that.
And how do you rate the user-friendliness of yandex.com with Gmail?
It's pretty good. We used for 3 years now, and we actually got a corporate account initially, and we are using both the corporate account and other thing. It's pretty safe, and the agreement and other things. And in fact, what is the most interesting thing is that they are not bothered about India as a market so much, so we can do whatever we want to do that. And the nominal charges, very less. Like we are paying for per person hardly 20 rupees in a corporate account. 20 rupees is nothing, like per person, it's like nothing. But there are a lot of things which are happening now, which I would suggest, like things are changing very fast. And with the time, what I suggest, Vimal sir, is now people should, experiment. There was a very interesting article in Harvard Business Review, October issue, last year, October issue, which I was reading that the corporates or organization which has survived and thrived are not the one which don't do mistake, but who experiment and learn very quickly from that and mistake and, go forward for that. So it's always good to try out new things, and a little bit of maybe 10-20% of our time we should put it in experimenting also. I think that will add a lot of value to everyone. So that's what I'm suggesting. Great. Any other questions, Spence? I think it was great. A lot of very nice questions. I was really appreciating the kind of questions which are coming are really nice. Thanks. Thanks for that.
And what is your call on this latest WhatsApp issue and
So
this call for
as I told you, every company is harvesting data right now. Every company is harvesting data. And in that given situation, I would say you have to decide on that, whether you would like to put your data or like a lot of people are telling Signal. We are using, I have been using Signal for last 3 years already. So it's good. It's very secure. I agree with that, but it's not for profit. So not for profit, we have to see how much they can handle it up, because what WhatsApp can give you as a new thing, features, maybe it will take some time. But yeah, personally believing, I think people are become very, they are knowing about all these things like privacy and all things, which was not aware of that. So that is a good thing. People know that. But I think it's sometime also, what happened is Elon Musk has made one tweet, and that's why all these things are happening. Otherwise, no one would have made such a big issue out of that. When the richest person on the planet says that, go to Signal, everyone is like, I saw one of my friend messaging on WhatsApp telling me boycott WhatsApp. What is the use of doing it? So that's the kind of thing which is happening. But I think, yeah, there are going to be impact on WhatsApp for sure. I can see that it will happen for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this on the security issue, sir.
Yes, sir.
This, I don't know. I think in India also this we call that
Aadhaar?
the security camera, the in-house camera. It's getting to be more and more popular, right? The security,
yes.
especially this MI camera. I think they're selling for 800 rupees, 100 rupees. More and more people are using it.
Yeah.
More and more people. I don't know if any of you have experienced it. They are the most easily hackable product
Very much.
across.
Very much.
So if you put that camera, you are exposing your privacy, whether your house or your office. It's being monitored by somebody at any point of time.
Perfect. You are bang on target, sir. And this is one of the challenge. All this low cost. I told you this is like a kind of a thing. As anything which comes at a very low cost, sometimes we have to ask question why it is that thing. And as you rightly said, all these cameras are easy to set up. On the same side, it is very easy to hack also. Very easy. In fact, we are having a Zoom call. I don't know how many of you heard about nowadays. There is a kind of a thing on YouTube, Zoom raid. So like we are having a meeting right now. Someone will come, they'll hack into Zoom and they will just play some music and all the thing in between and go away. This is called Zoom raid. So there are guys who are doing all these things.
But these are all structured big company enterprise softwares. But this small value cameras that they put up, people normally put it in the home. They have the child, right? They put the child for monitoring, or they put it for the helpers. Somewhere they just put it up. But the amount of compromise on security what they are having, I don't know. Government should actually put up all these things not to use these kind of cameras at home.
Agree. But even what happens is we don't listen to them, because already government of India was saying that we should not allow telecom use of Chinese systems and all things because they're hackable. It took a lot of fight between the corporates. Like they said, okay, you have to tell BSNL and all the things. But yes, slowly people will realize. But I think one of the very good thing which has come in last, I would say 1 year, I don't know how many of you heard about that. There is one draft law of Government of India, which is calls for data localization. That means if data or anything which is, I'm making an application for India, the data cannot go out of India. It has to stay in a data center in India. It has to be protected by that. And it's a very interesting thing. We have to see when this is a draft, when it become a law. As of now, it's a draft, sir.
So this data localization has been there for a long time. The banks actually, I was part of a foreign bank and we used to have this discussion with RBI all the time.
Yes, sir.
And they used to say you cannot have this data outside Indian, but we always used to have it,
I
and
agree.
then there is a requirement that you can keep downloaded version here. And, their point was more, why they wanted that is anytime we want to access it, you should provide. So we used to give them all kinds of, reasons how we will be able to access what they want. And then keep it anyway outside the country.
Venkat sir, this is very interesting point you have said. And I don't know how many of you know the new Companies Act also, Companies Act 2013. It has a requirement the books of accounts should be maintained in India.
Right.
But how many times you see that data centers would be outside India, everything, and we have a copy of the SAP environment out here, right?
Yeah.
That is how we show it. But you are actually bang on target. And one thing I would like to add it up. Many a time, this is a challenge. Our bureaucrats don't even understand that. I'll give you an example here, but okay, it's getting recorded, so I'll just make it a little bit of simple so you don't understand. I used to work for Goldman Sachs. And when I used to work, I hope you know there was something called algorithmic trading, where algo trading, which we call it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, sir. Algo trading was banned in India till which year, sir? Any idea? Venkat, sir?
Maybe 2014, 15, somewhere around that.
Perfect. You are right. You are till 2014, it was not there. And I am telling you that we were doing algorithmic trading in India from 2007-8. Goldman Sachs was doing it. And how we are doing it? Now, there is a reason for that. It was not illegal. Let me tell you one thing. So the requirement of the law says there should be a human person executing the trade. It cannot be a machine. So algorithm used to be there, and it should be logged on by an account of one of the trader. And the trader will be sitting there pressing the enter key. You also know enter key is doing nothing. I also know enter key is doing nothing. But it used to be on that. So this is the problem with our thing. You know, the execution of the law is not in the spirit which is there. You can see, Shivakumar sir is in right now in the Asia Pac region. After the Asian crisis, sir, there was a law because Goldman Sachs was operating in Thailand and all thing. After the Asian crisis, they said you can't have your IT systems outside of Thailand. You have to be there in Thailand to be doing that. It came in Indonesia and all these countries, they brought out this law. And they were very strict about that. I remember I have been to Thailand to just audit the data center which was there because I used to work for Goldman Sachs. But now that is the thing which I'm trying to say. We make amazing law, but the implementation of the law, that is the challenge. And as Venkat sir rightly said, how is to we can, they don't understand many of the point, right, Venkat sir?
Yes, absolutely, sir. Anyway.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. But that's a good point you brought out. Amazing. Great.
Any other questions?
I think it's dinner time, so people will be now hungry.
We had a wonderful session. I think we can conclude it.
Sure, sir. It was a pleasure.
For questions from members. I invite our secretary, CA Anuja Jayakrishnan, to propose the formal vote of thanks.
Respected branch chairman, CA Vimal Venu, session chairman for today, CA Dayaneva Sharma, Central Council member, speaker for the day, CA Anand Prakash Jangir, senior chartered accountants, other managing committee members and peers. Good evening to all. Today we had a very fascinating discussion about how the technological innovations influence our profession, the way we practice and bring changes for the better. On behalf of the managing committee of Palakkad branch, I would like to thank our eminent speaker for his sophisticated take on the most relevant topic. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Today's session chairman, Central Council member CA Dayaneva Sharma, has been closely associated with Palakkad branch, and as rightly mentioned by our chairman, he was instrumental in getting a CP approval for the Navratna seminar. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time, having accepted our invitation and chairing today's session. I'd also like to thank all the members of the Palakkad branch as well as members from outside who have joined for today's session and made the interactive session also very lively. Thank you all once again and good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Anuja, and
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks to Shivakumar sir, because
it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be associated. It was a very lively session. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and good night to all of you. And hopefully we'll have further more sessions on this line, Anand sir.
Sure, sir. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.